Alrighty, so NFL draft is around 2 months away, officially today. So Mel Kiper released his mock draft 2.0. So me and Dan are going to react to it here real quick. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so Dan, starting off with the number one overall pick. They have it getting traded to the Houston Texans, who are number two originally, moving up to draft Bryce Young. What do you think about this move, Dan?
Hey, I don't know. Who do you think is a better prospect, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young? Bryce Young is cold. I can't lie. But Stroud might be that guy.
I prefer him.
Yeah, CJ?
Yeah, but just because Bryce Young is walking in at 190, that's small, like weight wise. That's like really small, really string cheese um for a quarterback, especially in this day and age when you got defensive ends who are like 6'6", 6'5", almost 300 pounds coming at you full speed.
Yeah. I mean, if it's anything like the NBA, maybe, or like just any sport in general, maybe you can bulk up a little bit. I feel like that's what an emphasis will be his rookie year, but I don't think Bryce Young should go first overall, man. If the Texans do trade up with the Bears, hopefully they do trade up with the Bears or the Colts, whichever team wants number one bad enough. Um, I just think CJ Stroud should be the first pick. More proven to me.
Yeah, I agree. Also at Alabama, I mean CJ was doing this too, but you got five-star recruits everywhere you are. So
Yeah,
like when you go to the Texans or the Colts, you're dealing with the teams that were a little worse in the league. So I think
yeah.
CJ's
Is he
built
gonna
for that
elevate
better.
someone? Is he gonna elevate his
Yeah,
teammates? That'll be a good question to see, whatever team he lands on. But yeah,
yeah. But and then moving down to two, they have the Colts moving up, and the Bears trading back down again to number four with the Colts drafting CJ Stroud. I think this is the perfect move. I think this is a perfect spot for him as well too. I'd much rather go to the Colts than the Texans. You got Jonathan Taylor, can lean on him the first year or two or whatever. Michael Pittman Jr., solid wide receiver. I just like the Colts infrastructure better than Texans as well.
yeah. And the Colts, they've been looking for a QB for a long time. I feel like this is, if they do manage to land CJ Stroud, I feel like it's a really good safety net. Uh, Dude's just a baller. Can't say enough good things about him. Can't keep raving on about him. Hopefully he does well wherever he goes. Hopefully it is in Indianapolis. Like you said, he has the right weapons to walk into. Jonathan Taylor, he's been struggling a little bit. He had his little MVP campaign, and then this season it wasn't the best. But with CJ Stroud, hopefully he can make a lot of noise. And Michael Pittman, he's emerging. He could be a real star. It could be a real problem in this league. With CJ Stroud, it could be a nice little connection too. So yeah, I like that pick for them. I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to think about like you're gonna be in the same division with Trevor Lawrence now too. So you have to be starting to think about like who can maximize our potential and go toe for toe with Trevor Lawrence and the Jags over there. Because right now they're the team to beat in the AFC South. So definitely you have to see which QB you think can match up well with Trevor Lawrence, because you're gonna be fighting for the division with him for the next 15 years or whatever. But moving down to number three, this pick stays with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are supposedly going to be taking Will Anderson Jr., arguably the best prospect in the draft, linebacker at Alabama. What do you think, Dan?
Whether they should take the man right below him, Jalen Carter. Hopefully they don't, because I prefer him going to Chicago. But either or, JJ Watt, he just retired, so they need somebody on that front line defensively, and I'm pretty sure they're struggling overall. They have some nice pieces on that defense, but not enough to push them over the edge. They were getting clearly not. Their record shows that they everybody had a lot higher expectations for them, but they just I can't really tell you what the downfall of that team was. It could have been egos. It could have been not a right mix of talent. So they got rid of some pieces, and hopefully this guy, he sets the tone on that team.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals will definitely go defense. Depending on it, I think it should be Carter over Anderson, but I mean, those were almost like two like guarantees in this draft. I mean, you can't go wrong with either or. They already got Isaiah Simmons though for the linebacking core. I know he plays a little bit of like safety
pairing
and
him with
corner.
Will
He plays all
Anderson.
over the place.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Scheme fit
it would
too.
be
You gotta
nice.
think of that.
They have a defensive coach now, Jonathan Gannon from the Eagles. He was DC for the Eagles this past year, so I think they'll definitely go defense.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they go with Will Anderson over Jalen Carter because I hope number 4, which Mel Kiper has, Bears sticking with that pick and drafting Jalen Carter, D tackle of Georgia, big number 88, national champion. I agree with that pick. I hope the Bears can land him.
A guy is a generational talent, bro. Really. I know you guys seen the clip where he tackles the guy and then he's holding him on one arm. He's kind of like pointing up, and that guy's a demon, bro. He's different, cut different. Just like Will Anderson, I can't really say enough good things about him. Definitely should go on the Bears. It fits right into. They got rid of dang, why am I blanking on his name? They just traded him to the Eagles. Oh boy, I can only remember his social media handle, Puerto Rican Bobby. That's my guy. But yeah, he's out of there. So defensive line presence much needed. Jalen Carter fits right in.
You talking about Robert Quinn?
Yeah, Robert Quinn. What's wrong with me?
Man.
But yeah, good pick for the Bears, number 4.
Yeah, another thing too is that they'll be trading down twice, so the draft capital that they'll be able to like acquire with that, and they'll be still at number 4 with arguably the best player in the draft and Jalen Carter too. Like that's just all around a win-win-win-win.
Yeah, so at this point in the draft or this point in the night, they could be the Bears. They could be real well set for the foreseeable future. Even I feel like this is just a really important night for Chicago. I'm not saying that as a fan, but as a franchise, they have an opportunity because free agency. Draft is after free agency, right? April, free agency's in March. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll already have free agency will have already played out. And the gaps they needed, you know what I mean? They'll be able to fill in and have some answers to just what seems like a cluster. They didn't really have any direction until this year. Justin Fields, and even in this offseason, I think it was a smokescreen, but they were talking about trading him. They don't really have much direction, so hopefully Jalen Carter, this gives us some direction.
Yeah, I agree with you that this is a big night for the Bears. Not just being a fan for the Bears, but I think this could be their biggest night in Bears history. Like this is make or break. I feel like for them.
Bears history.
This year. I think because Justin Fields is the greatest, most talented quarterback in Bears history. That's like no question. I mean, Jim McMahon was a great quarterback, but he's not like Justin Fields. We don't got to talk about Cutler. I mean, that's just don't even talk about it. So, I like in my opinion, like this is make or break for Justin Fields and the Bears. Like, reportedly getting a new stadium too as well. You want to have that franchise quarterback and those pieces around him, and the draft capital to be able to go get other top players. You got the most free agency cap space this offseason too. So this is the biggest night for the Bears. Biggest night for the Bears in their history, and it's the biggest night for any team in draft night is the Bears too. So yeah, moving down to number 5 though, third quarterback getting taken. Panthers moving up to trade with the Seattle Seahawks and go get Will Levis, QB out of Kentucky. What are your thoughts on that pick, Dan?
From what I've been hearing, this guy could be like the next Zach Wilson, boom or bust. I hear he has arm talent, but I don't know if he has much of anything else, or maybe he's just a good athlete. I'm not too sure, but if Carolina, after free agency, if they don't end up with Derek Carr or somebody, because I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to go there, or if they don't make a play for Lamar Jackson, go with best player available. I mean, I don't know, because then it just becomes a question of do you go best player available or do you go positional need? They've been looking for a quarterback for a long time. Me personally, I wouldn't mind just getting a journeyman QB. There's definitely somebody solid enough. I know the Falcons just let go of Mariota. Now, Mariota won't get you to the promised land, but Mariota has a lot of experience. He's been to the playoffs before. He's won some games, won big games, played in a lot of big games. I don't see how that'd be a bad pickup, and for you to go best player available or pick a different position, because with the quarterback, man, you can't just take a QB, every year for like 2-3 years straight, unless you trade the guy or whatever. You don't want to invest that much into that position, or you're just missing out on a lot more talent. So, to me, I don't know if they should go QB in this draft, because outside of those top two guys, to me, the drop off it's pretty significant.
Yeah, Will Levis is kind of a boomer bust in my opinion too. He reminds me of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the third quarterback taken in his draft too, but he had the most talent. He was the most athletic quarterback in that draft technically. I mean, Will Levis he's a big boy. He's 6'3", 230. He's got a big arm. The biggest question I have with Carolina is if maybe they should wait a year, stick with Sam Darnold. They already got Sam Darnold he's a solid journeyman, as you were talking about earlier. I think he could manage the ship for maybe 1 year, and then they can maybe go big next year with Caleb Williams and try to trade up to go get him. I mean, they're not really paying anyone really. I think they're paying DJ Moore, but they're not really. I don't think they should. They should only do it if they think he's like the guy that can turn around the franchise, like a Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. Other than that, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't trade up to go get him. I think you can also maybe wait and sit on him a little bit. I think there might be a desperate team that would jump up and go get him. So
definitely.
you just have to see how the draft board falls at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, this is very early. We're still 2 months out of the way, so this is going to be ever changing up and down. I'm assuming me and Dan will bring you guys our mock drafts eventually once it gets a little bit closer or whatever. But moving down to a little bit, 6 and 7 has back-to-back cornerbacks going. The Lions taking Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. Raiders taking Devon Witherspoon from Illinois. Any thoughts on those picks, Dan?
The Lions, they definitely do need corner. I know they drafted Okuda. He was injured his first year, I think. In the second year, I don't know. The Lions, they were just kind of all over the place. They had the worst pass defense in the league, though. Do know that for a fact. So, corner, definitely position in need, or DB even, just defensive back. Christian Gonzalez, I'm not too familiar with this man, so I'm going to have to do my research on him. But people do have him going pretty high. This is the highest I've seen him personally going, so I guess he's banking on him making a splash at the combine. And for Devon Witherspoon, I've heard good things about him. I've heard he's a big dude. He plays a lot bigger than what his position is supposed to be doing. So to the Raiders, I feel like it's a good fit. I mean, just for the Raider culture, I guess. Just those kind of mean, nasty players is what you want. So maybe it's a good fit on their end too. But I've seen Witherspoon also go as low as maybe 18 or 20, somewhere in the 20 range too. So maybe that could be a reach. But the combine, I think it's this week too. So we'll see how these players are moving, how they look, and doing drills and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah, just a disclaimer about the combine. Jalen Carter will not be performing in the combine. He will be doing a physical and like the interviewing and stuff like that, but he will not be participating in the combine, which some people that might be something, to others that might mean nothing. Yeah. To me, it's really nothing. Yeah. I mean, when you're doing the 40-yard dash, you're not doing a 40-yard dash in the NFL. I mean, look at John Ross. Dude broke the 40-yard dash record. Dude's barely in the league right now. So to me, it doesn't really mean much. But DK Metcalf's combine, everyone should go look that up. He honestly had one of the best combines performances ever in NFL history. So getting back to the task at hand, Lions and Raiders is a position of need for both of them. Both their defenses were horrendous this year. Jeff Okuda, as you said earlier, they have him. He was a little shaky. He played well sometimes he didn't. I don't think it'd be a bad idea adding a cornerback to that situation. Devon Witherspoon, I think, is a little bit better, though. His tackling ability, I mean, he gets after players. I mean, he had 2 interceptions. I think it was against Northwestern. So, like, he reminds me of he can game. He can tackle, and he can run after receivers and stuff like that, and he can catch the ball too as well. So he's 6 foot, he's 180. He's not short, but he's not super tall either. So, he seems like a solid player to me. I'd pick him over Gonzalez, but what do I know? I'm not a scout. But moving down to number 8, Atlanta Falcons taking Will McDonald, defensive end, Iowa State. Again, I think position of need. Falcons defensive line is like
Is
can be
Grady
ran
Jarrett
all
still on
over.
that team?
Yeah, but they lost Vic Beasley that year or two as well. So I mean, Falcons need everything and anything on the defensive
That
end.
whole
So
front seven needs help.
yeah, so position of need. I don't have anything too much to say about Will McDonald's position of need.
Do you think the Falcons could trade up maybe and be in play for one of the QBs? I know they have Desmond Ridder, but what if they didn't like what they saw from him?
That's what I'm saying. I said earlier the Panthers, maybe they shouldn't bite to trade up. Maybe the Falcons would trade up.
Yeah.
Maybe the Raiders trade up if they don't get Rodgers or something like that. So there's a lot of teams that can be moving around to go get the quarterback. It all depends too on where the chips fall. What happens at the top is going to determine what happens in the middle. What happens in the middle is going to determine what happens in the bottom. So Falcons could be a team in play for quarterback too as well. Maybe the Bears trade with them. Maybe the Falcons go up to 4 or whatever, something like that. So anything and everything can happen. That's why we love the NFL draft, and that's why we tune in every year. So yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, moving down to number 9, this might be my favorite pick of the top 10 that Mel Kiper's got in his mock draft 2.0. Anthony Richardson, big quarterback from QB, University of Florida, arguably the most raw and most talented quarterback in this draft too. Stroud and Young are the most consistent, which is why they're put up at the top. But Levis and Richardson have the highest ceiling, I guess, but they also have the lowest floor. So risk reward, that type of situation. But what do you think, Dan?
In the modern NFL, maybe in 2012 or 2011, 2010, whatever, bro, Anthony Richardson would have been able to have a lower floor. But nowadays, you see how the NFL is. They RPOs and stuff like that, read option, quarterback power runs, bro. I'm telling you, man, it's a different game. I think this guy, he could really be something. And whatever team decides to pick him up, if they develop him right, I think he can already kind of play a little bit, but you know, there's obviously strides he has to make in his game. But if he can play it right, he could really be a problem. And to line him up against Kenny Walker, line him up alongside Kenny Walker in Seattle backfield, that would go crazy. So I do think this is a good pick for Seattle, but only if, you know, the guy is actually legit, the real deal. If he gets under Pete Carroll, I feel like he could definitely do something with him for sure. And whatever they do with Geno, franchise tag him or let him walk. Hopefully Geno's still in the building if they do take this guy. So you know what I mean. That tutelage will be there. But yeah, good pick, I believe.
Yeah, this is like best team and fit I think that he could go to. Anthony Richardson is bigger than Will Levis. Anthony Richardson is 6'4", 230. He's a big boy.
Cam Newton.
No, he is such a raw talent. I mean, playing under Geno Smith too. I think they'll sign him for maybe 2-year deal. Get Anthony Richardson in the system, integrated, learning from one of the veteran Geno Smith. I mean, he'll have a run game too. He'll have DK Metcalf.
Yeah, a lot of help. Tyler Lockett.
A lot of help. Yeah, so
no fan. A lot of help.
You're gonna see Anthony Richardson's name go. I think his draft stock is gonna go up as we get closer to the draft, just because of how raw he is as a prospect. He played at Florida, a big SEC school. He completed like 50% of his passes, nothing crazy. He didn't have as many touchdowns too, 17. He had 9 picks. So, but you can, in certain situations, in certain plays, you could see like, oh, he could be somebody in the league next year or whatever. So he's got that potential. It just depends on his fit. If he doesn't go to the right fit, he'll be a bust. But if he goes to the right fit, he could be something crazy. But yeah, moving to the final pick, 10th pick in Mel Kiper's top 10 mock draft 2.0. Eagles, Super Bowl or NFC champions, Super Bowl losing team, could have won it easily. Peter Skoronski, first lineman taken from Northwestern, offensive tackle, best tackle in the draft by far. This would be a position of need for the Eagles as well, with Lane Johnson getting older, Jason Kelsey getting older as well. So this is a good fit for the Eagles if they can take him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted higher. What about you, Dan?
The thing is, with this pick, I can see the Eagles maybe making a play to trade for some major star. Jalen Ramsey has been in trade talks. Or they're throwing his name out there, the Rams. So if the Rams, they're willing to part ways with Jalen Ramsey and get a top 10 pick in this draft, they could slide in right here and just take whoever they want. I don't know. That's just an option. But if the Eagles do go with this pick, I don't see how this could be viewed as a bad pick at all. They're coming off a Super Bowl appearance and they're taking a young tackle. This guy, he's one of the more proven tackles in the draft. From what I'm hearing, I can't really say. I'll be honest. I'm not the biggest college sports watcher. I'm not the biggest, but I do my research when it comes towards draft time. Of course, I have to do my due diligence. And from what I've seen, what I've read, I've seen a little bit of clips. Yeah, the guy, he looks legit. I can't lie. So, and on that Eagles offensive line too, I'm pretty sure they're already set. They already have a good foundation for that line. So he'll be around great vets and just in a good program. So good solid pick. Definitely turn out to be a cornerstone because they're gonna have to start making some serious pay cuts soon. So having a nice player like that on a rookie scale deal would definitely be beneficial to that dynasty, whatever they're trying to build over there. So yeah, that's how I see it.
I mean, you could argue that the Eagles' offensive line was the reason they got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very underrated for them, and I think Jason Kelsey, he could retire. Lane Johnson's getting older; he's been injured too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you add arguably the best tackle in the draft, I mean, the skill gap between the defensive line and the offensive line is the craziest I've ever seen in the NFL. Defensive lines are just destroying offensive lines. Like, it's like the position that like is needed the most, offensive lineman. So if the rich can get richer and get another solid one, then they should. If they can trade down and get more draft capital for the future, they could do that as well. But yeah, that's all I got to say about Eagles taking him. I think it's a solid pick.
Yeah. Likewise. So we were just talking about playoff seeding standings, and we made a little bet. I can't lie, we made a little bet. Look, I'm a nice guy. You know me, I'm a nice guy, but I'm not gonna let you retract your bet. You know what I'm saying? The Bulls bet still stands, but we bet $10 if the Lakers would make the playoffs. And he was talking about, barring injuries. That was your big thing, barring injuries. And there's some pain behind this smile I have on my face right now. I can't lie, the circumstances is kind of crazy because literally day after LeBron James, at first the reports came out. Let me backtrack too, because he played through this injury since January, the foot injury that's been bothering him for a while. But you know LeBron's gonna go out on his shield, and he played through the injury. Something happened. I think they played the Mavs, and they came back 27 points in that dub, actually. So it's a big game, and it was huge for him. So he really did go out on his shield. But basically, he injured his foot super badly because he kept playing on it. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a bad sprain or something. But basically, he's out for 2+ weeks. Originally, the reports were indefinitely. So the guy could likely not finish the season. He could come back. But the playoff push, it's looking grim. That's just putting it nicely. Maybe Anthony Davis could step up, but the Lakers, they basically just lost their coach. Darvin Ham might be the coach, but LeBron James is an on-court coach. Literally, he makes that team go on the court as far as things go. Darvin Ham sets things up, and LeBron James makes sure things go right. And now the Lakers, they don't have any of that. They had that pretty much the most of the season. He was injured a little bit to begin with, but it's just tough because even to begin with, starting the season, he was playing through injuries. That's why his shooting percentages were super low. Everyone was like, "Oh, Bron's falling off. His age is showing." He started turning up for the record, and he got the record. It's good. Everything's good. Now he said it's time to win. And the Lakers, they were looking good. I can't lie. They made some additions, and everything was cool in Hollywood. But I guess what am I trying to say? I'm trying to think of some corny cliche, something about the Hollywood lights. The lights got to dim sometime or something. I don't know, but it's just ugly. You're one of the biggest Laker fans I've known maybe ever in my entire life, my 19 years of living. What do you think about what's going on? Talk to me. How do you feel?
Man, it's tough, man, because we had probably the greatest 10-game stretch we've had all season when we made that trade, or that 5-game stretch. That was pure joy. I was joyful. I was so joyful that I was starting to put bets on Lakers now. You never would have caught me making a bet on the Lakers the entire year until we made that trade. I saw the report for 2 games. 2 games, man. And I don't even think it was star. I think I was right about it. And I said, barring injury. The injury I was concerned about wasn't even the king. It was about the guy in AD. And the person who actually does get hurt is the guy that never gets hurt, and it's LeBron James. So it's okay. I'll fall on the sword. And I'll die. I'll die on it. I made the bet. I mean, $10 is $10.
Yes.
The Bulls ain't making the playoffs though, so it'll be a wash. So it'll be 0-0.
We gonna see.
It'll be a wash. So, but I just sat here and I just said, "Damn, what did I do to deserve this, man?" I dealt with the misery for the year and a half, this half year, and then when we get that glimmer of hope, that part that the Lake Show is back, it's Aaron back on in the Crypto.com arena, and then we make this huge comeback. We're 4-1 when we made the D'Lo trade. And then LeBron gets hurt. Okay, he's hurt in the Mavericks game. We make this amazing 27-point game comeback. And all of a sudden, Woj has to drop a bomb on my Lakers and me. And LeBron James out several weeks. Indefinitely. Could be 2 to 3 weeks. At least 2 weeks. And I'm just like, man, we can't catch a break. In
the big 2 weeks, too. In a very vital stretch.
And during those 2 weeks, Anthony Davis can still get hurt. So, and it's
is D'Lo back?
D'Lo's hurt too, man. So, it's just, I mean, do they need me to go out there and play? I'll try. I'll go try, but
please,
man. That's the one thing I say about Russell Westbrook. When we did have him, he always played. He was never hurt.
Very true.
We could use that right now. Without LeBron James, Russell Westbrook could have been going crazy. The season's over though. I've accepted that. And it's just unbearable to think about now. The most important 23 games of LeBron James' career in the regular season, quote unquote, by him, and it's just cut short by this injury.
So
I don't think the Lakers were just about to get to the 10 seed too. They were just about to get to the 10 seed as well. Pelicans have been losing. We won't talk about that. That's a different topic for a different day. We won't talk about that, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's I'm crying inside, but there's always next year, isn't there? Always next year.
I will say, maybe because he's LeBron, so maybe he pulls something out of nowhere, something out of nothing, and he comes back. Or maybe he doesn't. What I'm trying to say is, where do the Lakers go from here? So you say their season's over.
They go down.
You don't think there's any point in trying?
We don't even have, the worst part is that I'd say, okay, tank, go get Victor Wembanyama. We didn't even got our pick. We don't
Definitely
got to
can.
pick this year, next year, the year after that. I mean, there's a sixth grader right now that is about to be it's gonna be our first round pick in 2027. I think it is. If I'm probably not doing the math right, but you get what I'm saying. It's a sixth grader and eighth grader. That's what I
That's
have
what you
to
guys are
pray and
thinking
hope
about,
for.
huh? Yeah.
That's what I have to pray and hope and put my. You better be waiting on us in 2027, man. Oh, you better, I'm telling you, 2027 is
Some kid
coming,
in
man.
geometry. Oh no. Oh no.
And I mean, okay, realistically, let me get back to the actual. Let me get the emotions out of the way, which is gonna be hard. Basketball court wise, I don't see them being able to get past the eighth seed. I think they could maybe miraculously do a 10 or a 9 and have LeBron James come back in
LeBron is
like a
playing
month or
that playing
so.
game. No matter what, if they make the playing, he's playing for sure. For
He
sure.
he would, but I'm worried about the health of Anthony Davis being able to get us
And
into
he's
the
gonna have to
10 or the
play a
9.
lot more too. He's playing more like actually like meaningful minutes too.
He's
That
gonna have
team
to
is
play
gonna run through him.
almost 40 minutes a night. He's gonna have to play
Most
game
definitely.
after game after game, and I don't think his body can take that. And let's say he does win those games, by the time LeBron gets back, he might go down because he's been playing too much or too many minutes on that body. So I mean, if you
Don't even
take
have
one
Pat
step
Bev
forward,
to
you
help
take
you out. No, it was
no,
crazy.
take
That was
one. You take
crazy.
one step forward, and you take two steps back. I mean, that's just been the whole season for the Lakers. So it's just a travesty to see this great franchise in shambles right now. The purple and gold, the Lake Show, Tinseltown, the lights. I mean, they're shut off right now, and the kids in the basement are having more fun with the Clippers. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I can
Depressed
say
Laker
right now.
fan, depressed Laker fandom. Yeah, man, it's just unfortunate to see. Not a great Laker season. I said great season. By great season, I was talking about LeBron individually. He fought through a lot this year, adversity, and he fights through a lot every single year he gets on the court. He's been fighting through a lot since he was 18, since he was born. The guy, we all know his story. We don't got to speak on it, but he really tried, like with this team. Like he even with Westbrook, he really tried. Like you could tell, just the vibes were off the entire year, and he was still there trying. They would catch him going to dap up Westbrook, whatever. Like it'd be awkward dap ups, but like that's what you need to do. Just show at least like, nah, we're still a team. Even though you guys are trying to ostracize this guy, nah, he's still along with us. And when they did trade Westbrook, he was cordial about it. I'm sure. I don't know if it's public, but maybe he sent them a message. I don't know. But they said Westbrook lives right next to LeBron, or he moved right next to LeBron, like in real life, like houses. So hopefully they did something or did some going away thing. I don't know. But LeBron James, he's just continuing to be the example of what you want an NBA superstar to be. And in his last few great years, it sucks to see him go down to some BS like this. Going out on his shield is the way we want to see him go out, if anything, if we ever want to see the dude go out. But yeah, man, it seems like, depending on how severe the injury is, it seems like it's low-key coming to an end. I don't want to say it, but the health, like longevity, I think we're going to start seeing it a little bit more frequently in LeBron's career, especially with the feet, man, because just common sense, weight distribution. He's getting older, man. I don't know how much load he can take, or his knees, his body can take, just in general, bro. Just keep taking these repetitive hits he usually takes, or the force he's landing, jumping with, all that type of stuff. I feel like it's going to start catching up to him in these last few years, and that's what these injuries kind of are. The fact that he was able to play on something for that long and be that good. His shooting, he couldn't really shoot for nothing. Couldn't shoot off the dribble for nothing, which makes sense. He wasn't getting that same lift he usually gets on his jumper. I think he was dealing with a foot injury earlier in the year too, even, or something lower body.
It was like right soreness in his foot.
Yeah. So, and that's what I was. We had a conversation. I think I was talking to you about, like, he wasn't shooting the ball the same. It's just tough. You don't get that same lift. Like, a layup is a layup, or you drive into the rim for years. you'll make it work. You're 6'9", you'll make it work. You can get enough lift, but a jump shot over other 6'9", 6'10" people, outstretched arms, your mechanics, you're gonna have to compensate for something somewhere. So he's gonna be off, and he has looked off. The fact that he was able to finish the game is amazing, but yeah, man, I think we're just gonna see more of this. Hopefully not, but that's neither here nor there. The Lakers season likely is finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about it, because I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It's so depressing. Looking towards the off season, since we can basically rule out getting to the playoffs, unless they somehow can get to the 9 or the 10 seed with AD staying healthy and playing MVP AD in the bubble and staying healthy, and then LeBron comes back healthy, and then they'd have to make that run that we're talking about just to get to the 8, to get an 8 to an 8 seed basically. Would you move Anthony Davis, and would you not sign Kyrie just to build the depth of the Lakers to surround LeBron?
It depends on who you're moving Anthony Davis for. You have to. That's a really good question. I'll say this because I do think, you know what? I think we should save that question for a later episode. Anthony Davis, because in some cases you could look at him as damaged goods. I don't think he's damaged goods, but you know what I mean. Some teams are obviously not going to pay that premium for him, or the Kevin Durant price that he should be deserving. Honestly, if Anthony Davis was still perfectly healthy, like Pelicans Anthony Davis, before all the injury mix-up happened, he would probably be worth more than Kevin Durant, just because of what he offers. And big men that skilled are cream of the crop. I don't know is my final answer. I don't know. I think he's good enough to, you can get away with it if you stick with him, but would it be in your best interest to move him? I don't know. And I'm saying that is in, like, there's reasonable cause to move this guy and see what you can get for him right now.
Yeah, we'll revisit this back probably in the off season for the NBA, but I'll leave this on a little bit of cliffhanger. And I'm saying you do move him because he's getting older and he's not going to be able to be the New Orleans Pelicans. He's getting further from it rather than getting closer to it. So I think you got to cut your losses and just get out of it as soon as you can and get as much as you can. Because like we said earlier, if LeBron is getting injured more because he's getting older, then you don't even have a team because you don't have enough pieces around him to withstand and hold them up while they're injured. Giannis is out. Bucks still beat the Suns. So, and once LeBron leaves to go play with Bronny for that 1 year and then probably retires or something like that, what do you have? All you have is a 6th grader right now in geometry class. So, yeah. But that'll do it here for us. Let us know what you guys think down below. Comment what you guys think about the Lakers, the mock draft stuff as well. Gonna be getting more into the NFL draft as it gets closer as well. NBA playoffs are still getting closer, so a lot of stuff is going on. March Madness is coming too.
Facts.
It's officially March. We can't wait to do that. We'll be doing brackets for you guys as well. We'll be showing them. So a lot of stuff is going on with E&D. So like, subscribe, comment, do it all. Yes, sir. See you guys later.